Justin, thoughts on the day?
Oh, I bet you could answer this. Right? I mean, great
Pretty
energy.
basic.
Yeah. I mean, guys are excited to play. Coaches, it was great to get out here and work with them in a this type of environment, and now it's just practice. We need a lot of practice. So it's good though.
How long do you expect the new blocking schemes and the style of play to kick in and feel more natural with the guys out there?
I think they're going to know what to do. It's just a matter of getting used to the techniques and the schematics that are a little bit different, and then it's just the repetition that creates those patterns, and where it becomes muscle memory and not something that they're thinking about play by play.
Dramatic change for the offensive lineman in terms of technique or scheme or anything?
Well, I think in football there's a carryover from scheme to scheme. I mean, everybody runs some form of inside zone, counter. It's just how you run it, what the coaching points are, the technique, the specifics within that play, aiming points. I mean, all those things matter. So I wouldn't say they're all the same, but there's, if you look across college football, everybody runs inside zone. So we're going to run it, so does everybody else, and we'll need to get good at how we run it.
What are some of the maybe early benchmarks you're trying to hit early in spring?
Well, I mean, it depends on each player, each position group, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, there's just so many things to work on. I mean, all of us got to get better. I mean, the entire program's got to get better. Coaches, players, support staff, strength and conditioning. Everybody's just got to show these, incremental improvements every day, and that's how you end up winning games, close games. As opposed to being 7 points for winning it, you're +3 or +7 or +10. So it's all those little things that show up. So that's what we're working on.
You saw Sam Jackson on film. What did you see seeing him out there today executing what you guys are going to be doing this year?
Yeah, he's a great athlete, sharp kid, and he just needs practice. He needs reps and practice. The decision making at his position and the other positions, O-line, tight ends, receivers, running backs, he's got decisions to make within these given plays. It's just not going out there and throwing one-on-ones. That's not football. That's, it's not 7-on-7 can be beneficial, but we got to play the game. Those guys in our offense and defense, we need to get a lot of 11-on-11. Play the game.
Officially speaking, is there a quarterback competition?
Yeah, there's competition at every position. What we're focused on is guys improving. So, we'll release the depth chart when it's appropriate to release it. Right now, you guys can take a stab at it, but we're just trying to get better as a team.
You mentioned the other day guys who are out. Anybody else that was held out today?
Let's see here. Yes, we did. We had Justin Williams-Thomas is unfortunately not going to be with us for spring. So a transfer running back, he'll be out for spring. That was it, other than the ones we talked about.
And Hightower?
Hightower should be joining us during spring. Really between he and the sports med staff, the return to play specialists, they're the ones that'll dictate how much.
And Williams-Thomas and all the 10 guys that aren't, will they all be ready for the fall?
We're anticipating that, yeah. But some of these injuries, they're not, they're not all the same.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
What about Brett?
Yes.
You expect him?
Yes. Brett, we would expect back for the fall.
How's Stanley McKenzie's transition been back?
I think it's been good. He's got to continue to work himself into shape. But in terms of he has been here, he understands, knows the people. It's great having him back. So he needs weight room, conditioning. He needs to work with Coach Browning as much as possible and practice as much as possible.
In terms of strength and conditioning, did you guys change anything in this off-season to sort of fit the new style of play that you're going to be doing?
Sure, absolutely.
Anything you can get into without trade secrets?
Well, I mean, conditioning is always a premium in college football, and certain styles of play, you're gonna, it's a non-negotiable if you're playing on offense that you got to be in phenomenal shape. You got to be able to go all day. So
even more important than up tempo?
I'm sorry.
Is it even more important in an up-tempo offense?
Well, yeah, on offense you control the tempo to a degree because you decide on when to snap the ball. Now on defense you have to train that way because you don't get to say whether we huddle and start the play. The offense does. But offensively you can control the tempo to a degree, and so if you're going to play with some tempo, you better be ready physically to do that.
What does Sam's running ability do to challenge a defense?
Creates problem in the run game because of the math. You get 11 on both sides, and when the quarterback is a threat to run, it changes the math and the run fits. So that is something that, and it's, Sam can throw the football now. He's got a talent that he's got a live arm, and he's got talent to throw the football, but he can really run. But from a defensive perspective, it's all math.
Who's typically spying a running quarterback? A safety, a linebacker?
That term gets thrown around so much. It's not really. There's defenses throughout college football don't use that term. Fans use it, media uses it, but just once in a while there are people, especially in drop back pass game, where you'll have a second level guy or a line game where you are mirroring the quarterback or spying the quarterback. But in the run game, the defense doesn't know what the run call is. So if it's inside zone one way or the other and they're reading a defender, you can't say it's this guy over here if they're reading that guy. So you just have to schematically on defense account for the quarterback based on what run you get. But to say, well, it's always the Mike linebacker, well, they might block him. So that changes. Now in the drop back pass game, like I said, you'll hear that term, whether it's mirror or spy or whatever, but I think that term gets thrown around a lot. It doesn't really carry a lot of water with most of the defensive coaches that I've ever met. So what I would say is the running quarterback in the run game, it changes the math because somebody's got to account for him. And in the pass game, how many people you have with man eyes on the receivers and tight ends. Well, if everybody's in man and has their backs turned to the quarterback, well, he can take off and run and do more things. So having somebody with eyes on him, and then that somebody has to be able to tackle him. So you traditionally see certain coverages versus guys that can run that you may not see versus somebody who can't run. That's something that all defensive coaches take into account.
How will be extending the field? How will that be able to help you guys? And how much will that be key on offense for this year for you guys?
Well, it's just it's a +1, a different type of threat, and again, the quarterbacks we want to bring in here, we want them to be able to throw and to run, and some guys do, both of them great. Some guys run a little better than they throw, some guys throw a little better than they run, and then there's kind of the extremes. But our job is to identify the skills of the quarterback and then build the offense to fit them, call plays and schematics that help that guy be successful.
A lot of commotion at the end of practice. What happened on that play? We couldn't really see it.
Always had a one-on-one competition between the offense. There was a receiver and a DB, one-on-one.
And
the offense won.
Who was the receiver?
Jordan King. He also had a great catch over here at the end of team. Jordan's got really good hands, so Jordan had the one-on-one win. It was a contested play and just something to get another way to compete. Want those guys getting used to that each and every day.
Sam at QB?
Pardon?
Sam throwing the ball?
That was Fernando. Actually.
That was Fernando, okay.
Yeah, that was Fernando.
Nice.
Is Jackson's size a concern at all?
No. I mean, he's not the tallest guy in the world. He's not the biggest guy. But again, if you look across college football and pro football, there's a lot of different body types playing that position now. I think it's different than it was 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And the schematics adjust accordingly.
What are you looking for from Monroe? Maybe some of those other veteran receivers that are coming back and returning. What are you hoping to see from them this spring?
Yeah, leadership, consistency. Monroe, you bring up Monroe. I mean, guy's been here a long time. We have a lot of trust in him as a human being, what he is as a football player. He's a tough guy. He is a great leader for our team. So just want to see him continue in that role and set the standard for how we do things around here with his group. And then we want guys to push him, it's great having a guy like that in that room and on our roster.